are only, like two kinds of people who get excited about being number 69, teenagers and marketers.
Okay, and marketers.
Which
maybe three.
So New Year's resolutions, right? You want to hit that market when it's hot. People starting to think about get fit with. Actually, I had that as I had that as a slogan. We do got a custom video that the client records, and you give client a script what to say. What's on that video? What are you pitching?
So I feel like we're talking about two things here, right? Because we originally did a VSL before the webinar. So before, when we were doing our own leads tool, so we were offering the leads to people, and we did a VSL. And
what's evolved since then? And how do you approach outsourcing these days?
Outsourcing these days, I still do that internally with our team and go through that process. And I just can't give enough credit to overseas talent.
Welcome to the HighLevel Experience Podcast, proudly presented by HighLevel. Each week, we sit down with leaders from across the HighLevel community to unpack their systems, stories, strategies, and breakthroughs. Whether you're scaling an agency, building a SaaS, or leveling up your automations, you're in the right place. Now, here's your host, a fellow high-leveler, Vit Muller.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode on the HighLevel Experience Podcast. Our guest today is the man who's always had my back. An absolute legend in the HighLevel community. He's a business builder, a connector, and a master of systems who believes that freedom in business comes from leveraging time, outsourcing smart, and surrounding yourself with the right network. He's also proudly stepping in as the 69th guest on the HighLevel Experience Podcast. So please welcome back Jarryd Holmes.
Let's go. 69. We're in.
Yeah.
Mate, you are so close to 100. You were absolutely chumming away. It's so good to see.
Yeah, it is, mate. I've got After Level Up last week. A lot of cool episodes, a lot of cool interviews lined up as well. So I'm pretty excited. But, mate, you've been on the podcast before and, shared some absolute gold. But now you're back as, guest number 69, which is a bit of a milestone episode. What's changed for you since we last spoke, like in business, mindset, or life?
Love this. So I'll even just say in the last 6 months, what I've been doing that's been working so well for me. And that is, this year I've really doubled down on collaboration. So collaboration is something that I've always felt very, very important. And I felt that I had focus on it. And then, just like when you and I went to Sydney Saaspreneur, that was a great opportunity for me because, as you know, I live on an island. So, getting out and networking isn't a thing where I live. There's like 470,000 people that live on the island, let alone anything that actually happens on here that's business related. And so jumping into that and going up to Sydney and spending time with you and spending time with others and people that I've known in the high level space for years, but then actually seeing them in the actual true, real life scenario, a bit like you just being at Dallas, that was just awesome because isn't it interesting, Vit, how you go there and there's that thought where you go, is this going to be awkward when I actually meet them in person? Because we actually haven't met each other. And then you literally say hello and start talking and it's absolutely no different because that's what you've done. Like literally the last 6, 12, 3 years, whatever, that's all you've done. So you know about how their business works. You know about their family, about their wife or their kids or their husband. And so it's just a blast. So that's been a big thing for me. And so I've planned on collaboration and looking at how, rather than looking at just the deals that I can do, how can I connect other people? A perfect example of this, went to the Saaspreneur event. I reckon we 6 to 8 times ROAS our trip, right, of going up there. And that includes the extra week I took up there just to see family that I hadn't seen for a while. And the benefit of that was by creating relationships with people that I hadn't met before, and also then deepening the relationships of people that I had met before at a better level, because you've got a lot more time around them. As you know, we're up there for what? How many days was the event? 3 days? 4 days?
Yeah, something like that. 3,
So,
4, yeah.
so it's like full immersion. It's like Tony Robbins style. You're like there pounding on your chest and going nuts, but not quite so rah-rah. But when I look at that, it's deepening those ties to then do more things. So naturally, after the event, more referrals came through to me. After the event, I then looked at how I could connect people to other people. Now, here's a cool thing. I've always, like I said, tried to do it. But what came back tenfold is then I started connecting people within HighLevel to HighLevel to outside of HighLevel. And so there's someone who does Klaviyo, right? So they're in HighLevel and they do Klaviyo. They are like the CMO of understanding that space of Klaviyo. And so what I did is I then went, that's someone that should be talking to this person. So I connected her with another guy whose space is all ecom. So once I connected them together, they then reached out to me and said, oh, that was like the best connection. One of them said to me, I love that you did that for me. Feel free to spin up whatever offer you've got and share it inside my Facebook group. You've got my blessing. And there's 80,000 people in there.
Holy crap. Wow.
Right? Isn't that amazing? And
that is.
Without asking for it, I wasn't like, oh, I'll connect you guys up. But, I want to get access to your community.
Yeah.
That's the difference. When people can see that you're genuine and you want to help, that's a superpower. And over the years, I've had people burn me because they take advantage of the kindness. But then there's way more people that outweigh that with the good that I go, it's going to happen every now and again, and that's fine, but let's focus on the good that comes out of it. So collaboration has been ginormous, which has then led to me flying up. I haven't been on so many flights in all my life. My wife, you going again? I'm like, yeah, I'm off to Sydney now to do this AI event. And that, I believe, has helped, because even now I've got another trip planned for not next week, in 2 weeks' time, for the Australian AI Awards. And
oh, mate, congratulations.
Thank you, mate. Like, I didn't nominate myself. Someone nominated me anonymously. I really want to know who it was. But they nominated us for 14 AI awards, and we've now become a finalist for one of them. So we're going up there to hopefully claim that and bring that home to the island. And I believe that is from the collaboration of trying to connect and help people in the space. And now I'm trying to look for more collaborative opportunities, which is why at the end of the year, with the event that's happening in December 2nd, I think it is, there's an AI event. I'm going to that on a mission to see how many people can I meet and then how many people can I help, whether it be by me or people that I know. Because look at you just going to Dallas and the amount of people that you got to shake hands with, hug, kiss. I won't go into details on that. I'm sure there was. But the opportunity of meeting these people to then form connections, and some of them you'll be able to work with, but others you'll be able to collaborate with. Just like your new partnerships that you've got, collaboration, it's one of the most powerful things where you can share audiences and experiences. So that would be one of my biggest takeaways in the last 6 months, is being able to collaborate with others and give rather than take. Look at how you can add value to someone, and then in return, all the stars should align and good vibes should happen, and then you should then reap the rewards of that afterwards. And I think that's exactly what this podcast has done.
Mate, it's pretty special. In this community, I haven't come across, I can't think of any actual like a bullshitter or anything like that. Like, everybody is pretty genuine. Think about it, right? We all use HighLevel and we're trying to sign up businesses to help them out. So in a way, we're pretty much competitors, but it does not feel like that
At all.
At all. No, like put the event that I'm running like next week, right? The roundtable special, like 18 people there. Some of them Saaspreneurs, some of them vendors, even vendor competitors there, right? And we're all mates. We all jump on. We're going to be all like, everybody's sharing it now. It's like, wow, it's just unreal. Yeah. Now, speaking of collaboration, mate, this episode, we've been talking about it for a while. I know you're pretty excited. And look, they're only, like two kinds of people who get excited about being number 69: teenagers and
us.
marketers.
Okay, and marketers. Maybe three.
So which one are you today?
I'm us.
Oh, brilliant.
It's good that it's so good that we get to still laugh about that stuff, not take life too serious.
Oh, man, absolutely. Life's too short. And look, if the number 69 represented perfect balance, what's the biggest imbalance you've had to fix in your business recently?
Great question. I'll give you something good, but it's like trying to think of something that's been an imbalance that I think that people would be able to take from this. I think the biggest imbalance that I've had of late is the amount of hours that I've been putting in to the business. And that's not to say that there's a lot of people that are listening or watching this aren't doing so. It's more the fact that I haven't had to do that. And it's just because we've had a super focus on what we're doing that we've gone all in on what that thing is. And so that's required more time, more money, not more freedom. So when you're talking about the three big things, however, it's short-term pain for a long-term gain. Can I share what we've been doing to kind of add weight to that so that everyone gets where I'm coming from?
100%.
There are so many ways that you can. I think why we're not. I think we're in direct competition, right, in high level. If you were to look at it on a big overview kind of look, but when you get really micro to it, we're not competitors at all. And the reason why is because everyone has their own niche, they have their own way of doing it, they have their own experiences, okay? And that's really cool because that's what's giving you your USP, your unique selling point, is by having those. Over the years, we've been trialing different things and we've been working out what our thing is. And that's gone from reputation management through to Google Business Profile Optimization to looking at ads and things like that. And one thing that's been working well for us is I like to beta test things, right? So I like done is better than perfect. And I think this is why you and I work so well when we're talking together as well, because we're very, very much the same, but then different in some ways. Right. So you're super detailed and can absolutely provide every bit of information for it. I'm the guy that goes, that sounds like a good idea. Let's run with it. So what we did is we started going into voice AI. We put together a very simple funnel, right? Because I wanted to test the Australian market and see how many people are actually interested. Was it too early? Were people still not adopting to it yet? And so I just had some questions that I wanted to answer because I wanted to make sure that it was a service that people were loving and jumping on board with. I wanted to know the objections I was going to get. I wanted to get the questions that might come up from it. And so what we did is we then decided to put that together very quickly. We got some ads together very quickly. We started promoting it. And we then brought on 16 clients in a month, maybe 2 months, I think, that were joining us for the voice agents, which is great, right? So for me, I look at that and I go, okay, it works. Like proof of concept. We're running very simple things right now and we're getting a response. So how do we make that better? We double down. And so this is where the extra efforts come in now, because we're going with a very detailed, sophisticated VSL that has a lot of routes depending on where we go. It's got a qualifying form on there as opposed to just a simple form that people can fill out just to get some generic information. It's using text and email, which is what we were doing, but now we're now embedding WhatsApp into it, and we're also then using Closebot to be there and also qualify those leads further. Brilliant. Which we did with our GPP optimizer. We used that and it was booking in calls for us. So Closebot was working great. But because we're putting all this together, and then I'm now creating video VSL scripts that are going to be 10 minutes long, I'm then working with people that are experts in that space to help provide me with the better next level up outcome of doing that. You've got new VSLs, a new VSL script, new Facebook ad scripts. You then got me to then record them all. I wanted to sharpen that up. So this week I've been getting new lights, new teleprompter, all of these things so that I can aim to do that as well as I can. Record it, get it edited, drop it into the page. Now, because we're doubling down on this and we've already had a great outcome with leads coming through, we've still got those people that we're working on and we're trying to throw gas on the fire, but then leveling this up. So naturally, it's taking up more of my time. It's stretching the time of my team like RJ as well, because we've still got our agency projects that we're doing and other things like that, which is big projects that have a deadline, but then we're still trying to grow our side of things with our SaaS to then do that and leverage that as well. So there's just a lot of plates spinning to do that. However, once that's in play and it's running, that will then mean that I can back it back down again and then not feel like I'm inside this room 24/7. Means that I can have that break out of the room and take a break to watch the Jack Jumpers kick ass in the basketball and things like that.
Yeah, mate, that's powerful. And think about like the different foot in the door offers, or I mean, almost kind of like more of a, I guess, core offers in a way as well that work for you, from that reputation to the Google Optimizer to what you said, doing now. Is there like a particular one that worked really well for you?
I think
like in terms of like ease, or like how much an effort to the output, like the scale, like how much you got out of it. How easy
I think
was it?
one of the once you've got everything in place, the easiest one's running webinars, for sure. Running webinars is definitely the easiest, because rather than all the sales calls, you're able to jump straight in there and invite everyone to the same thing. However, you've got to make sure that they see value and that they're being reminded and that they're getting little, I won't call them gifts, I'll just say bits of value leading up to the event, because you want to try and remind them, hey, like, your reason for joining this webinar was this. For example, it might be leads. So when we're offering the leads tool, white label suite, it's like, okay, so your issue is leads. Let us talk about that. And so then it's like comparison. So if you're running meta ads, you'll find that your typical lead cost might sit between $10 to $15 to start off with, and then it starts to creep. Here's some solutions where we can give you 300 leads in under 30 seconds as an example, and we talk a bit about that. It might be talking about Google ads, but then letting them know that there's competition with the industry, but then also different locations. Some places that are more the metro areas or real estate in metro areas, very expensive, right, to get into. So it's trying to find ways where you can get the cut through when you're doing it. This is why I still believe that traditional media has a place as well, Vet, because traditional media is a lot less noisy than what it used to be. And it's more cost effective than what it used to be, right? Because they still have an audience. If your market is local, they still have an audience, right? Even if your market's not local, if it's somewhere else and they've got a local audience, then newspapers, newspapers, radios, and TV could be the perfect opportunity for you, because now it's nowhere near as noisy. Perfect example, when we run our voice AI ads, I know that mine is being smashed out there with like 20 other people or 20 other businesses. So then I need my USP. My USP is my background's been sales and marketing for the last 10 years. The other people that we're seeing in the market or hearing from in the market are businesses that are doing AI that are trying to treat it like a transaction service. So pay here, get the thing, right? Very, very Google. Like, here's a few buttons that you can click. Great, you're running Google ads. Will it get you the same results as someone that knows that space really well and is like trying to ensure that you're getting the best cost per click, relevant scores and things like that? Definitely not. But it's a service that people can start to finish click on to get what they think is the result. It's the same as Facebook's service with boosting a post, right? Very simple to boost a post. Is it the best thing that we should be doing? No, it's not. But a lot of people just go, well, I'm doing the right thing because I'm marketing my business. And therefore, I'm doing it right by doing it this way because Facebook said, you'll reach more people. Put $20 into this, right? And so that's why you can lose a bit of noise by breaking into that. And I feel like I've gone on a real big side mission to the question that you've asked. But what we do is we talk about having the USP of my background being in sales and marketing. Then the fact that this year I won an accolade from Billie Jean, for our voice AI, our funnel and things like that. Then I talk about the Australian AI Awards and that we're a national Australian AI Awards finalist. I then tell them that I've been doing this for the past 10 years. Almost everyone comes back to me like, oh, you've been doing AI for 10 years, thinking that I'm trying to get myself caught out by being full of shit. I'm like, no, I've been doing sales and marketing for the last 10 years. I've been doing AI since it's become publicly available, right? And there's a difference. I said, so I'm not here to cash cow. When I jump on calls with people, I'm not here to cash cow. I'm here to provide a strategy. So if the strategy doesn't make sense to give you a voice agent, then I'm not going to try and offer it to you. But then I can jump on the same call, and what they love, or what I find that they love, is that I'm not trying to hone in on the voice agent. I'm trying to understand the reason for wanting a voice agent, because sometimes, Vit, I have people that jump on there and they're like, I go, how many calls are you getting roughly a day? They're like, oh, 3. I went, okay. Are you getting those calls? Yeah. You're answering them? Yeah. All right. So help me understand, what did you want a voice agent for? Oh, well, I just saw it. I thought it'd be cool. I'm like, well, right now it's going to be an added expense. Is there a reason why you don't have your phone ringing that much? Oh, well, I'm having trouble with leads. Right. Well, it doesn't sound like you've got a lead handling issue. It sounds like you've got a lead issue. Let me talk to you about our GPP optimizer and the AI and how that integrates, so that we can help you get more leads, get more inquiries, so then it makes more sense to get a voice AI assistant, right? Very different to someone that's only selling one thing, though, because they'll try and batten you down and go, you need a voice agent, you need a voice agent. Sometimes they don't. And so this is why I like having our product offering, because then we can cross-sell if we need to. We just change gears and go, this doesn't look right, and then we change it.
Yeah.
Did I answer the question?
Oh, mate. Yeah, big time. Yeah, I love it. Obviously, you've been trying different things, different offers, and now you've got a really good basket full of cool little offers that you've got like a flywheel. Like if this doesn't work, that works. And if that works, then we can stack it the next thing. So I really like that because, for a long time for myself, I got myself sort of pigeonholed in doing the snapshot stuff and then this podcast stuff. And then as of late, I've just been really dialed in a bit more on the SaaS thing. So I feel like I'm a little bit behind on 3 things, but I got to say, with the webinars, like I'm 100%, like it's actually, I can see it working. Like it's still pretty early to say. Like I've been doing this weekly workshop and, you've been a good mate and showing up to support. But, people are coming back, like people who have been, and not just me like you, because, but like there've been people who are coming back. So I feel right now, I feel confident, like the value is there because people are coming back. So it's just like a common sense thing. Tells me that like, well, if it was shit, then they wouldn't have, right?
That wouldn't be back.
Yeah. So I just need to pepper it with some ads and then actually drive because I don't know about you, but like I like to test things just organically before I run ads against it. I don't know if this is the right way or the wrong way, but like, it's kind of like maximizing, your own network first and then going into ads, right?
You may not realize this, but for the last 2 years, I've had a secret weapon that has made running my business inside of HighLevel so much easier. You see, there is so much that HighLevel can do, which is amazing, but it's a lot of work to stay up to date with it. And even more so if my customers are asking me questions about it. And this is why I'm excited to announce that our show is officially part of the HLPT Creator Network. This is HighLevel Pro Tools, an organization that I've been using to run support for my customers, as well as give me a ton of awesome epic add-ons that make running, launching, and differentiating my SaaS inside of HighLevel so much easier. And now that they're an official sponsor of the show, they've done something pretty bloody awesome. If you go to hlpt.com/experience, you can get one of their incredible tools absolutely for free. No purchase necessary, just for being a listener on the show. So head over to hlpt.com/experience, grab that free tool, and I promise you this is going to improve the conversion rates on your page. Check out all the other stuff that they offer and tell them that Pete sent you.
You know what's wild? There's a smarter way to grow your agency and help more local businesses without adding more stress. That's what HighLevel does. It's your all-in-one sales, marketing, automation, and AI system. No more duct taping tools together or paying for 20 different subscriptions that barely talk to each other. I've been using it for 5 years with my own white-level version, Stand Out From the Pack, helping Aussie businesses like Dimitri, a Canberra electrician, who now runs his jobs, quotes, calls, and follow-ups with our built-in AI employee. If you're an agency, HighLevel lets you do exactly that. Support your clients in new ways while building stable, recurring revenue every month. And if you're a local business, partner up with somebody who knows your market and your industry. If you're in Tasmania, my mate Jarryd from Boulder Digital, for example, has you covered. If you're in Canberra, that's my turf. Check out standoutfromthepack.com.au and we'll get you sorted. The point is, there's probably a high-level agency or SaaSpreneur near you. We're seasoned marketers, tech-savvy super nerds who love helping local businesses grow. We're global, we're connected, we're high-levelers. Now, I've got something really special for you guys. I've negotiated an exclusive 30-day high-level trial that's double the usual just for you. Sign up your agency through gohighlevel.com/vid or upgrade your existing plan, and I'll hook you up with over $3,200 worth of bonuses, resources, templates, and snapshots I normally give to my private clients only. So whether you're scaling an agency or leveling up your business, start with the right system. gohighlevel.com/vid or team up with your local SaaSpreneur and let's make business simple again. One platform, one login, no duct tape, just results.
Yeah, I love that you mentioned this, and I think both are super sensible. If you've got a good following where you can get some organic reach to really beta something, I say go for it. If you don't, like with the voice agents, I was like, wonder if people actually want this. Like we've got ours, we've got Alfred, the UK accent voice agent named Alfred. It's almost like I did that because of Batman. So having the UK accent and then calling him Alfred. But I thought, well, we're using it, but are we just using it because it's a gimmicky thing that we think's really cool, or do people actually want to look at using this? And the use cases start to come through when you start talking to people. The other thing is that you then find out what else they've tried Vet. So just quickly going back to the voice agent, I had one person sign up with us. Our setup is for basic voice AI setup. It's $500 for a setup fee. It's $399 a month. And this guy literally told our CloseBot agent it was too expensive. And what we then found out was our speed to lead got him on the call because of our CloseBot agent through text talking to him, right? He actually went, wow, if they're doing this while talking to me and I know it's not a human, what else can they do? So that helped build credibility by having a healthy conversation back and forwards using CloseBot. But then when we jumped on the call, he told me, I said, look, you know, I seen through our conversation that price is a factor for you. And so do you want to tell me more about that? Because you mentioned that it was out of price range. And I can appreciate that my ads are being served with others where they're charging $15 to $30 for a voice agent. And I know people have tried that, but the difference is that if you use them, you don't get us. And by having us, we work with you. We'll update the agent. We'll change things, your services, your times, whatever that looks like. We'll work with you to keep working on that agent so that it stays current and that it doesn't break. And then he goes, I'll just stop you there. I'll just stop you there. And I went, okay. He goes, I know I said that it was about the price. It wasn't about the price. He goes, I know I said that, but I was actually just trying to throw your AI off. I was just trying to see if it would stop talking to me, and it just kept on handling my objections. So the reason why we're here is because of your agent. He goes, plus, exactly. He goes, plus, he goes, I have tried those $15 ones. I have. He goes, they are so bad. They just pay for a subscription and that's all you get. You don't get any help. You don't know what you're doing. And this is why the USP is so important, Vet, and to test the market and see if people want it. Because notice I'm $399 a month for our voice agent, right? And there's alternatives for $15 to $30 to do the exact same thing. But they're not getting the strategy. They're not getting the 10 years in marketing and sales. They're not getting the upsell of what I spoke to that guy about and said, right now, this is the issue. You're missing like 40 calls a day. Let's start here, knowing that you're service-based with what you're doing with solar, the next sensible thing that makes sense is looking at the service area and how we can get you in the map pack in Google, right? And then we talk about stacking it. It's like, oh, let's talk more about that. I'm like, well, we can. Let's just get this right first, build some trust, show you that it works, and then we can go into that. And so this goes back to the webinars, because webinars worked out really well for us. And we did it during December and January when everyone says that business deals are dead. And I just called bullshit on that time, on that. If you've got a good enough offer and people need help, you tell me, Vet, when it's December time and then everyone's taking 4 weeks off, are you turning off and not thinking about your business once?
Not me, no.
And not many others either, unless they've got an incredible leadership team that's in there to help.
Yeah, and also that time is like, actually you want to capitalize on, it's a special time. It's, you're getting into, it's obviously, I mean, the Black Friday leading into Christmas is like the biggest, shopping opportunity. But then you lead it into this December time and people start to like reflect on, it's like an interesting thing. Like people start to reflect on the year, and they also start to plan for this new clean slate in the new year. So they are actually in this prime mode. They're actually thinking about how the heck, because year by year, we have this thing called life and it's not forever. So naturally, like, I don't know for you, but like for me, it's like, it just makes me realize the thing that like, it's not forever. Like we're here for a short time frame. So it's like thinking what works, thinking what didn't. And it'd be stupid to do certain things certain way, same way that I did. So let's plan ahead. That's when you start to get into like goal setting and, starting to like plan and vision and what you want to do different. So it makes perfect sense to actually market to that audience, because if nobody else is, then you actually get an advantage. And then, and then the January one is like, well, the January tends to be a little bit quiet. Some people are on holidays and all that. So by the time they get back off holidays, what I find is like now they're chasing their tail, like trying to wake up. It's like, wait, you kind of missed the boat. Like this is type of stuff that you actually should be planning like from mid-November up to December, and prior preparation prevents before performance, right? We know it. Like a good one is in the fitness industry, right? For a long time, I've been working with gyms, managing gyms, and one thing that we always did, and it's like a repeating thing, but it just works every year. New Year's resolutions, right? You want to hit that market when it's hot. People starting to think about get fit with. Actually, I had that as a I had that as a slogan. You got it. So, but you get it. If you're trying to be ready for it, well, you're not gonna like. There's campaigns like that. You have to plan ahead a little bit and start planting the seed into the people's heads a little bit as well, and that. You can't do that in January. In January, everybody's like camping their families and stuff. And then as soon as they get back, they've already probably made their mind up from the offers that they've seen during December or Black Friday.
Yes, correct. And I love how you've positioned this, because that's how we've seen it during this time. So we're running a weekly webinar through December and January, and we brought on 26 new clients in that time, right? Which is huge. And what we did is we ran a lead webinar. And what we had with that is we had white label suite that was providing the leads. And then we provided a system that did 5 emails to a VSL. If they went to that VSL, then they had 5 follow-up emails, right? Very, very simple setup, and when we built it out, we kind of just built something again as a beta to test it, to see what would happen. And we got an influx of people joining us. And then we realized really quickly that building out a standard VSL for everyone takes time. So then that weekend, we doubled down and we took that landing page and we custom valued the shit out of it. Absolutely everything that could be custom valued, we did. So, hello, custom value name. In this video, you're going to get. And then we took the 5 benefits of them watching the VSL, custom value for all of those, the reviews, custom values, about the business, 3 different custom values so that it wasn't all clumped together, about the owner, same thing, and then the contact information. So notice that we had the influx and we went, okay, proof of concepts worked again. We've proven that this works. But now we're finding that our onboarding's taking longer. How do we fix this? And then we quickly went in and did the custom values to get that all sorted out. So then we started bringing in these people, and this is why I win. And this is going to annoy a lot of people that hear this, because you and I have spoken about this multiple times. Everyone tells you to niche down on something, like niche down on an industry, go after mechanics, go after lawyers, white collar, whatever. And every time I've tried to do that, I failed. Even in the marketing game, when I was cold calling people, I just went where the market was. And so I was just cold calling people, and my products were my niche. And this is the way that we're doing things now. And I won't change it, because we had someone convince us to change it last year. And again, we got burnt. The moment we start focusing on the problems that are solved with the products, that's what works really well for us. That's what works really well for me, when I can convey that to the team. Because for the perfect example, if they don't need a voice agent, right, but then we can help them with leads, and then we're using like Google Business Profile Optimization, we're niching by our products, and we can shift to do whatever that is. So when we got that together, the webinar worked really well. It was very low price point. So we had some people that loved the low price point because they were in a spot where they were desperate for an outcome. So not your ideal client, because the $97 that you were getting from them was the only $97 that they had to budget towards it. And they were hoping that you were going to be the gift to solve all the problems. As opposed to some other people that would sign up for $97 and go, what a great deal to get started. And now those people are paying us $1,100 a month, right? Because they're an established business. They could see the value in what it was doing. And then they went, what else can these people do for us? And that's where we then went with the leads, with a voice agent, with a chat bot, with GPP optimization, so that we can build out more assets or more marketing strategies for them to do different things. So webinars work, but the thing to be careful of is if you're going in with a price point, if you go in with a low price point, you will appease a lot of people, but then you might get the people that you don't necessarily want. And you've got to factor in the time that you've got to spend with that person, because if you don't spend time with them, I've got another good friend that does webinars in the SaaS space. And when he was providing them the service, massive churn, right? Massive churn, because they were given the keys to the castle. They didn't know how to run anything. So what happens? People sign up on a good deal. They find it too hard to use anything, and then they bail. Right.
And the alternative is you have to spend a lot of time with them to get them indoctrinated. But if you haven't got it dialed in and done in a scalable way, like courses, videos, and things like that, now you're spending a lot of time. So that's not profitable either.
You've got to put a price on your time. Absolutely got to put a price on your time. Like the people that know us well, that come from the ads, but then get to talking to me, they go, after this, when I sign up, how do I stay connected to you? Because I help them identify that I'm the guy that might be in charge, but it doesn't mean I'm going to be there every single time to talk to you about something, because my time's valuable, but my team will. And they're very capable. The team's very capable. RJ's a 2IC, he's based in the Philippines. He knows the business better than I do, back to front. And so we let them know that to build trust and credibility, right? You've got to help them see the trust in your team, not just you. Otherwise, you can't scale back because they need you, right?
I had that. Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah. I was just going to say, to follow up on that, while I was in Dallas, I had a customer emailing me, and I said to him, look, I fixed, it was a small little thing. So I jumped in and I fixed it for him. But I said, look, I've got a team. I'm in partnership with HL Pro Tools, right? So we've got 24/7 live chat. You jump on it, you're not going to wait very long, at the most, maybe 2 minutes. And the guys are there, ready to go, ready to answer questions, ready to help you out. I said to him, look, you're better off using that, because every time you email me, you're gonna wait. I'm doing other things. Like, I'm not here to like stare at my email every day. So you better like use that chat widget. And so there's a bit of that education, right? Or the other day, it was like another customer said, is there an email address that I can send instead of the widget? I just hate waiting, which was a really weird one, because in a way, if you think about it, you send out an email, what you're going to be waiting. Chat widget is, they're not waiting.
I agree with you 100%. But here's the thing with email. Email's not like snail mail. People know that it's instant. So they expect you to be in your emails ready to reply. And it's absolute bullshit. I was going to share this at the end of you mentioning this for my hack, and you've seen my hack. I'm sure you have, because you and I exchange emails. If anyone emails me, I have a permanent away message that tells people that I'm out making magic with my clients, right? Their email is important, but I'm out making magic, doing big things to try and impact the people that are working with us, which means I haven't got my head down in my emails, right? It's not something that I'm scanning every minute of the day. I check it at set times throughout the day. And so I go, if it's urgent, send me a text, right? So those that are clients that have my number, they can send me a text if it's urgent. Guess how many times I hear from someone when it's urgent?
Never.
But when someone sends that email, they think it's the most urgent thing in the world until they get that. And then they cool their jets a bit and they go, oh, all right, I guess I just have to wait here and Jarryd will get back to me.
Yeah.
And then I get back to them. They're like, oh, that's great. Thanks so much for doing that. So anyone listening, that is one thing there where you can get your time back just by blocking out your emails and saying that you won't run back to people, because the moment people see that instant TikTok gratification where you're replying to them, then they know that they can do that. You've just set the standard.
You've conditioned them. Yeah.
You've conditioned them. Yeah, really well said.
There's going to be a scale of equal value. Like if it's not win-win for everybody, it's not a good business model, right? Like if 69 was a business model, what would it look like? Win-win deals only, right?
Exactly right. Top to bottom.
So I've got one of those where it's coming from, mate. I've prepared myself. Well, you backed me. You want it to be on the 69. So, I got to set up.
100%. We're here to have a good time.
Live up to the expectation. All right, where from here? I want to talk about, just stay on that topic with the, if you're okay with the sharing on what worked for you. I mean, you already outlined it. Can we dissect it a little bit more? That VSL that you did into the free leads offer of HighLevel Suite last year? Because I know you told me about it and I never really jumped on it, and I should have. But for the guys that are listening, I think that's one thing that could help a lot of people. Because, somebody like me, I'm super ADHD and I get really distracted, and I like to tinker with stuff, and I'm OCD and perfectionist. So, I mean, we talked about it. You're better with sales than I do, right? Than I am. But then there are other things.
You're better at systems than I am.
Yeah. So can you break down that offer? So it was offering free leads using HighLevel Suite.
Yep.
Those leads that you then put into client sub account into the system. Let me see if I get it right. Right. So you put them
you're talking about our model that we tested before we did webinars. We did this as well.
Yes.
That's right. We did actually do this. So yeah, please go on. Yep.
All right. So you approach a particular business in a particular industry and say, hey, look, I can get you leads. We know how HighLevel Suite works. It's amazing. You just put industry, you put thing, you put location, and it spits it out for you. So then what? So because you can't do mass scale because that's burning out, you're better off using Instantly for that. But you did it through a GHL, so that means small number, penny a day or something.
Yep.
And so you send out an email with an offer. Do you have the link to the landing? So then at some point they go to a landing page where they've got a custom video that the client records, and you give the client a script what to say. What's on that video? What are you pitching?
So I feel like we're talking about two things here, right? Because we originally did a VSL before the webinar. So before, when we were doing our own leads tool, so we were offering the leads to people, and we did a VSL, and our call to action was 20 free leads. Now, HighLevel Suite are amazing, and they provided a template. I don't like using the same thing as everyone else because I don't want to be seen like everyone else. I want it to have a bit of our own USP. So our funnel designer then took the core information and then added in additional things that I wanted, which was trying to talk about pain points and other areas like that. We then built out that landing page, and then we use a leads tool. We threw together a couple of industries, again, because I don't niche by industry, I niche by product. So
right, so you niche by what would reputation management, who would that be relevant to? And
Correct. And so reputation management's practically everyone. But when we're talking about reputation management, we get them in with reputation management, but then ultimately we want to sell them the Google Business Profile Optimization with our AI in it, because that's the thing then that is actually helping them to show up more in the map section, right? Because you've got your Google ads at the top. We're side missioning here, but you've got your Google ads at the top. you've got your maps in the middle, and then you've got organic below it. And that is probably going to change soon because, AI is an impact. You've got Google
ChatGPT
AI.
is spam me last 48 hours. They've just launched Atlas, right?
Yes.
The new internet browser. So
Which, who knows how that's going to hit? It's absolutely going to disrupt Google without question.
big time.
The interesting part with this, right, is you can spend money on Google ads and you've always got to pay for every time someone clicks on the ad, regardless of whether they were serious or not. Google Maps, everyone sees as a free place where you just make a listing. I've done it now, and then you leave it alone. They don't optimize it. They don't put in all their services. They don't put in their service areas. They don't put in their socials. They don't update it with posts or videos. They basically leave it there to die once they've set it up. But they've done it, right? So they tick the box and go, great, I'm doing that. Then you've got SEO. And can I swear on here?
Yeah, mate.
I fucking hate SEO. I hate it. I've been with the largest media agency businesses privately owned in Australia. And I've seen so many different ways that people come through with SEO and different ways that they try to spin it. And then you'll have a problem. And then there'll be 4 different big giants in SEO that will then give you 5 different ways that it should be done. No one knows what they're doing in that space effectively, right? I would love to find someone that knows high level and SEO really well, because I'd love to know that person and how they could actually help change a lot of businesses that are building websites on high level at the moment, right? This is me side missioning again, but I have been looking around for that person that would put their hand up and be brave enough to go, I do that really well. But no one comes to mind. And even when I was using GHL Central to work with Nick and ask him, because I knew he had his directory on there, I was like, who's approached you saying that they can do this? And same thing, there weren't anyone there that was talking specifically about GHL or under like $2,000 a month. Whereas with Google Business Profile Optimization, you can generally do it for about $400 to $600 a month, right? Not as an agency, as a consumer. And the benefit there is 60 to 85% of traffic is actually clicking through on the maps. Even if you look at your own actions when you're looking up somewhere to eat and things like that, you're looking for a local search result. When I was in Melbourne, I looked up places to eat and all these pins dropped in the map. And I was really sick at that time, really sick. So I just wanted an old school Palmy. I just wanted to keep it really easy. So then what happens is I then put in Palmy. And what happens is in the map, it then looks for someone's review where they've said how amazing a Palmy is. And then
Guys,
I go there.
If you listening, we're Aussies here. For those of you US folks, we're talking about, it's like a chicken schnitzel with chicken parmigiana. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. All the good stuff where it's got your sauce and your cheese and everything jammed on top, surf and turf, whatever you want. But I bring that up for that reason, right? Is look at the power that the maps played, but also the reviews that are there. So if you optimize your Google Business Profile effectively, you can do this. Perfect example. We did this for a skip bin business, and that was week 2, 14 days, was when I caught up with you in Sydney for the Saaspreneur event.
Yeah, right.
We just finished the Saaspreneur event and I was heading out to see my family. So I was traveling on a train. Ping, the report comes up into my inbox. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see what this has done. And in 14 days, right? 14 days, 8 out of the 10 service keywords, he was in the top 3 positions.
Brilliant.
Before that, he didn't have a website. At the time, he didn't have a website, and we still got him to outrank all of his competitors with no website and a Facebook page. And he literally told me how to go buy a bin and then come back and get another 4.
That's awesome.
Right?
You know, so I think it's also good because if you're doing it in like a less saturated area, it's actually lower hanging fruit. Like it's those type of services are like, I wouldn't think there's that many skip bin competitors either, right? So it's sometimes like they just need a little bit extra and actually get a really quick upside. So yeah, it just goes to show there's a lot of money to be made for everybody.
Let me, what I love about this, let me add to this because this will help people, right?
Yeah.
When you do this, say you get someone on board and it's an industry where you've gone, wow, that's got really good results. Again, I don't niche by industry. The bin hire business did really well, really well. So I can't get everyone in the same location to then buy in on that product, because it's really an exclusivity, right? Of those people being the only ones who can go in there.
You'd be cannibalizing on the trust that you build.
That's right. So what did I do? I made a 4-minute Loom video going, hey, this is Jarryd from Boulder Digital. So good to see you. Wanted to reach out to you because we've just been working with this skip-in business that's been getting incredible results. And I'm going to literally show these to you now so that you can see the impact that we're making with AI in the local market, because I've got an opportunity for you. And if you find this is a good fit, we want to hear from you. Then I go into showing the reporting, how it all works, literally Googling everything and showing that we're actually getting those results, that he was showing up in those. And then I go, if you're interested, just let us know. There was only 7 skip-in businesses in there. We then got 2 replies of it. That's 2 leads. That's a huge conversion rate.
Yeah, I mean,
the first person said yes. Then he said no. Then he said yes. Then he said no. Then he said yes. Then he said no. All in one day. And the reason why is he goes, I know that this will impact me, but I'm at the top. So what you're saying is if I don't buy this, someone else is going to come and push me out of the way. I went, that's exactly what's going to happen. I said, respectively, that's exactly what's going to happen. So you can jump on board or you can be moved. It's completely your call. And he chose not to. So then I met John. And John reached out to me a week later, and we called everyone as a follow-up from sending out that Loom.
It's a smart strategy. I mean, it's just scarcity.
Correct.
Correct.
So I spoke to John, legend of a bloke. And John goes, yeah, I've seen that video. I'm pretty impressed by it. I want to jump on a call and work out how to do it. So he jumped on a call, and now he's our client as well.
Hang on a minute. And you obviously didn't have to run any ads. You just
Nothing. This is why I'm sharing it with you. Look how easy this is, guys.
White level suite, hit them up, all of them, send them in a video. Is it?
That's it. It's exactly it. That's how easy it is.
See, and you told me that a year ago, and I still haven't acted on it. And this is it. Like this, I mean, this is my own stupidity. I just get too distracted. So if you guys listening, I'm being honest here. Like I've got other things. Yeah, like certain things are pretty bloody awesome. Like, I mean, I just secured a sponsorship with HL Pro Tools, so that's pretty brilliant. But I'm kind of like too many things. So live and learn.
Try it though, because you've got to focus on your thing. It's the same as when we focused all in when we were working out the leads tool. We just went, let's go accountants. Whereabouts? Let's go Sydney. Again, guys, I'm on an island. I'm nowhere near Sydney. Send out these emails. Guy opts in, books a call. Jump on with him. He's on a bus, right? I'm like, oh my gosh, what is going on here? This guy's not taking this serious. He goes, I'm really sorry about this. I'm just in between meetings, but I want to have this conversation with you. This person then jumped on board with us. They then paid a $500 setup fee. They were then paying $550 a month. They were with us for over 12 months. That was with a trial. That was me just testing out a market. Wasn't even me actively trying to do it, right? And so the reason why I want to tell everyone this, Fit, is HighLevel's just brought out how many new features? 300 plus?
I mean, there's also bulk prospecting.
There's what?
Bulk prospecting. The prospecting tool?
Yes.
So now you've got the map pack, so you can do the report on the heat map pack, on the heat map, but what I'm talking about. Pretty exciting. Getting pretty close to white level suite too, I would say. But yeah, that's just like one of the many heap of really cool things. Just this morning, I was just looking at, because I was running a simple workshop, just actually your strategy, right? Relevance. I was teaching people the importance of chat widget on the website so that they don't miss out potential traffic. And then as I was preparing for it, I'm like, well, I better show people how to do that inside HighLevel. So I was looking at that. And now you've got the flow builder. Now they've mapped it out like really simple. So it's like, you can go simple way, do this. You can go more intermediate, do this way. And now I've got this. So, I mean, world's your oyster right now. Like there is no limits to what you can do. Pretty exciting.
And this is why it's exciting, but also going to be the fall of a lot of people that are in this space.
Again, yes, another distraction.
Another distraction.
Yes.
What I want to say to everyone that listens to this or watches this call, heed the warning that if you try to spend too much time trying to perfect this stuff or get it right before you actually test the market, and I see this happen all the time, Fit. I build for agencies everywhere, UK, US, Canada, here in Australia. And it's amazing because this is why I know agencies are so different, because I'm working with them and building with them their things to then offer to their clients. There's too many people that are trying to be everything rather than just focusing on the core service. Why are we doubling down on the voice AI? We're doubling down on the voice AI because we've chosen more recently, me, have chosen, and my team will back me, that the voice AI is going to be our core offer. That means that we can perfect the messaging, the problems that are being solved, the objections, everything. It's our in. It's a thing that we master. It's a thing that we can leverage and run ads to get people in. Now that we're doing that, as you know, we've got different offerings. We've got chat agents, we've got GPP, we've got all kinds of stuff. Notice that when we're talking to people, we can then cross-sell if we need to. We can stack, right? We can stack onto our offer that they've come to us for. But rather than trying to run ads for everything that you offer and going, oh, like I'm trying to get a response for this and that and this. No, now we can actually just focus on the one thing and get really good at that, get people into our ecosystem, and then go from there. And what taught me to do this was, one, running the leads tool through the webinar. Because could you imagine trying to push all the different features in HighLevel? Like, it's like, guys, allow me to run down the left-hand panel. We're going to be here for maybe 3 hours, but it's going to be worth your time. And then, asleep, watching people on your webinar asleep, you're like, oh, what's going on, guys? Stay with me here. Stay with me.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to, we tell people that they're going to get a voice agent. And then they're like, oh, would that be able to then send out text and email? Yes. What we do is we provide a CRM in the back end where all these leads will then be placed. It will have all their contact details. It'll have a summary of the conversation. And then we can also automate text messages and emails as well. Now, you said that you had a protocol that people needed to understand before they booked their pet transport. We can even set up a membership that they get access to where they can go through those in their own time and watch those. Now, I don't want to go too much into that because those are things that we can build up to. But right now, we just want to focus on the voice agent, get that right, and then we can talk about those other things. And how much better do you look when you're saying, hey, we can look at those things, but let's just focus on where you came with the problem first and then go from there. Because then you don't look like the shitty salesperson that's like, let me do a deal for you, blah, 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 blah. And then what you're going to give is analysis paralysis. Because originally I came onto the fucking call for voice agents, and now you're telling me that there's reputation management. I'm going to get these kick-ass review cards, that I can tap on things, and life's going to be amazing. But now all of a sudden I've forgotten why I'm actually on this call in the first place. So
obviously, the difference would be if somebody comes across and they're like, hey, do you guys do reputation? And they straight up self-qualify for that particular feature.
Correct.
And then you sell them on that.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And so the gap that I see is too many people try to sell everything at once. Focus on one thing that you really want to do, or that you're really passionate about, or that your team can really nail. Like if you've got that one thing that you do really, really well, then just focus on that. And then you can cross-sell it thereafter.
Yeah, I've implemented a new strategy lately, which at a face value could seem like it's a bit of a shotgun approach. But my thought is they're already customers with mine. They're already paying for our software. So how do I make it even more sticky? Because if they're using something, great, and that's what they came from in the first place. But I know their business could benefit so much more if they also implemented this next feature or this other feature. And how do I know which one do they need? So what I started to do in last sort of 6 weeks is running. Basically, I unpack all the features into all the different facets of like strategic facets of sales and marketing, and then put together a workshop title around it. And it was all about the value, the whole, and then here's the tool, but you're going to learn the value and then come along. And this is for our customers. And I thought, if it's for our customers, I might as well market it as a free workshop for somebody else that they can learn about this one feature. And that just, because like the only other way, like if you did it would be the wrong way, is let me tell you about all this stuff. And that's when you lose people, right? So it's like, what if I just do like one thing? Next week, I'm going to do another thing and another thing. I don't know if it's the right strategy, but like,
I think it is fit, because I've been coming along on those calls, and you would literally give people analysis paralysis by trying to tell them everything that the tool does. Whereas if you go, let's talk about, for example, your call that you did today was talking about having a agent that can convert leads that are coming through to your website 24/7. Most people don't have a chat widget on their website. And if they have a chat widget, a lot of them don't have a conversational AI agent on their website. It's just name, number, email address, punch something in, someone will get back to you. And here's the thing. If people get that, they go out of your website, they then go into the next one below on Google, and they do the exact same thing again until someone responds. But then if you do what you were sharing with those people today, where it can actually be conversational, and it doesn't need to be a long conversation, that person just needs to feel like they're being acknowledged and that someone will get back to them. The moment you can do that with a voice agent or a agent of any spec, which is pretty much all of them, that's the power, right? It's the speed to lead, which is what you really nailed today, talking about the speed to lead. Because like I said, I've been in the ad game for a long time, and people go, well, we've got some leads. Let's get more leads. So let's put more budget in. Let's just pour more gas on the fire. They don't tell you that they don't look after these leads. They don't contact these leads. They don't do anything with them. And they're really just hoping that the ones that come from the ads are the ones that are actively trying to reach out to them, not them actively reaching out, right?
yeah.
So AI is now playing that part to assist with the speed to lead. So now you don't actually need to spend more money. In some circumstances, you could spend less money because the AI is there to help. And so if you didn't do that in your webinars, you would just absolutely like confuse the crap out of people. People wouldn't be coming back every week like they have been, because you're giving them too many variables. You're giving them too many ideas. You're not helping them to focus on one thing. Whereas when we jump on those calls that you've been putting together, this is the thing. This is what I'm talking about. This one's about the sales funnel. This one's about the chat widget, right? It's breaking it down so that people go, I'm coming onto that call to see that. And that's where you've been winning.
And then explaining why what I'm about to show you, the feature I'm about to show you, why it matters. So kind of like selling them on the idea so they understand, okay, shit, this is good. This is what it does. This is the outcome. Now show me the thing. And how can I maybe do it myself, maybe. Or
Correct.
not. Maybe you pay us and we'll do it for you. But at that point, it's more of just a decision of time and money.
What you do well is you talk about the benefits of what the problem is that you're solving. So you go
I think
benefit.
I think you have to, right?
You
like,
should,
otherwise,
but people don't. Whereas you're going, this is a benefit. By the way, here's the features. This is how it actually does it. But you're actually going, this is a problem that this is solving. Benefit, benefit, benefit. Now let me show you how you could implement this. Best case scenario.
What was cool is that just before I did it today, I actually checked on my Facebook. Let me just bring it up here. Matt DeSano. Shout out to Matt DeSano.
Yo, Matt.
He made a post. He said, order makes all the difference in marketing. Here's my favorite 4-step framework for explaining anything. And then he goes, and it was just kind of like validation, like, oh, cool. Well, that's kind of like what my thought was. Number 1, start with why it matters. If they don't care yet, nothing else matters. Number 2, show what this is really about. Give the 10,000 foot view so they can see the full picture. Number 3, make it real. Show how it works in practice so people can connect the dots. So that was like, I guess, me showing them the real 3 different use cases of chat widget for different industries. Number 4, and with what to do next, right? So don't close with theory, close with action. So that was like, well, let's go and let me show you how you could actually build it. It's pretty easy. And then if you want something more advanced, we can work together. So it was just really cool to see it because like, okay, well, I didn't exactly hit it like in my head that way, but it's good validation, I guess. Yeah.
Now, I like that.
Mate, being the 69er on our episode is quite a title.
It is.
What does this milestone mean to you, and how do you plan to leverage this experience moving forward?
I'm going to be able to leverage this for many, many years to come on the factor of just being able to say, nearly forced Vit to make sure that I got episode 69 because I knew that I could have a joke out of it and get a bit of a laugh when talking to other people. And you know that even when I mentioned it publicly on your Facebook page when you were talking about the episodes you had, and I said, I want 69, people were then jumping on there like, that's hilarious, let's go, you know. And so that's special. But what's special, mate, is being here again with you, because you and I have had multiple conversations over the years in all different areas, right?
Yeah.
And I genuinely love how much you give back to others. And I think this is why you and I do speak to each other so much, because we genuinely want everyone to win, you know, except for ourselves. Go away, ourselves. You know, like bad people can just go somewhere else. Everything that you do, even when you look at the podcast and the people that you bring in and the experiences that come from those people that can help others, you're helping shape the Go High Level community by getting some amazing people together to share their experiences. And those experiences, they could take 1% of that and that could completely change their lives. So you're in the market of saving lives. And there's some people in the high level space that are starting out that are really fucking banking their last dollar to try and make ends meet or change their life or change their circumstances. Because I've spoken to them. I guarantee you have, and anyone listening to this probably knows someone that's come to them like that. High level is a gift if it's shown how to be used in the right way, and you're getting the right people onto the podcast to be able to show different ways that people could find that one thing to then double down on and change their lives. And so it's very special for me, not even joking about episode 69, Vit, because I love that, but being able to share the learnings from other people and share my learnings with the other amazing people that are on this podcast. That's very special to me, because the community, Go High Level, has changed my life for the better. It has absolutely changed my life. Meeting you has changed my life. You've helped me in more ways than you know, because the information, the detail that you have, the knowledge and understanding of High Level is just a million to none. I don't know anyone that knows High Level as well as what you do to the nitty gritty of detail. If there's any other person I can think of that might be a cyborg, it'd be Mario. I don't think he's human because of the amount of hours that man can work and the amount of work that he can produce. But shout out to Mario.
He sleeps 2 hours. He said to me yesterday he sleeps 2 to 3 hours. I don't know how the hell he does that.
Neither, man. Neither. He is just an incredible human being. And again, why do I like Mario? I like Mario because the bloke wants to give back. He just gives and gives. And, you know, I hope that 2 hours turns into 3 or 4 hours sleep so he can give back to himself and make sure he doesn't, you know, burn both ends of the candle. But he's clearly doing it and dominating it and knows how his body's working to be able to do that. But you look at these people, you look at Johan and Walt from White Label Suite, you know, again, people that contribute. You help bring this together with the podcast because you're bringing in these good people to do that. And then you're helping people that are either watching or listening or coming across the short form content that you share. You give so much with what you're doing with this. I don't know anyone that's doing podcasts where they put the time and effort together to make sure everyone's prepared. They have a great conversation. They then create content to then use not only on your socials, but you then supply them with everything they need to then be able to then share that with other people in their audience as well. Like the amount of work that goes into that is just incredible of what you're contributing to the community. And I love that Matt DeZino has seen that. And then you guys are now working together in this capacity. I love that. I think that you absolutely deserve that and more. And I love that someone that's big in this space has recognized that. So that's what episode 69 means to me.
Wow, mate. One thing I've never been really good as is like being able to receive praises. It always makes me feel very awkward. But I'm hearing what you're saying and I appreciate it.
Awesome,
You
man.
know, last time we spoke, you dropped a bit of a masterclass on SOPs and VAs. You remember that?
I do.
What's evolved since then, and how do you approach outsourcing these days?
Outsourcing these days, I still do that internally with our team and go through that process. And I just can't give enough credit to overseas talent. I just can't. Wherever you source those people from, overseas talent is just the bomb. It is so good. If you find someone that you can bring into your business, I spoke to someone that coaches e-commerce businesses across Australia, across the world, but based here in Australia, and he's looking to supply virtual assistants through whoever to his clients because he can see the impact that would make as well, right? Because they will more than happily work a long shift and not say, no, I can't do that. They love to work. They've got really strong work ethic. They're very, very good at following an SOP, very, very good at following an SOP. They need to be guided to use my favorite word with overseas talents is initiative. I always try to remind them, you're a human being where you're valued, use your initiative and come to me with solutions or ideas. Don't be the yes ma'am or the yes man. Feel free to come back to me and say, I don't know if that's the right idea. I don't know if I'd be comfortable with you making that decision, because I won't always get it right. But I need someone that's got the initiative and the confidence in my business to then be able to say that. Right.
It's important, especially, I mean, being a business owner, like unless you got like business partners, but if you're running it solo, it's tough. Like everything's on your shoulders. So knowing that there is somebody who is a little bit proactive, it just means a lot. It makes the day-to-day a lot different.
And they're the Swiss Army knife of a worker, because they actually, if you find the right person, they will do so many different things. They might do cold calling, they might do appointment setting, they might do high level. One of the things you asked me, one thing that I've learned during that time, people need to understand when they're looking for a virtual assistant that they need to have a look at versatility with a VA. And the reason why is, over the years, we've had a lot of people come to us and go, I need a VA. It's like, great. What do you need them to do? High level. It's like, okay, cool. What else do you need them to do? Oh, look, I've got lots of projects right now. It would help a lot to have someone in high level. It would just help me stay on top of things. And I go, okay, well, right now you've got those projects. Then you're going to have someone doing 40 hours a week, every week. They will help you catch up. Then what happens once they help you catch up? And interesting enough, this is what you see a lot in the VA space, regardless of the business that you might be working with, is they have a short lifespan with the VA at times, because they run out of work for the VA to do. They actually haven't considered the additional things that the VA could be doing, or they haven't planned for that VA to do anything other than that thing. And then they build a connection with that person. If they're good people, they generally build a connection with them. And then they don't want to let them go, but then they're put in a hard spot because they've run out of things and it doesn't financially make sense.
I've got a perfect solution for that. Are you ready for it?
Yep.
Ask your VA for a resume. Honestly, like so many times, I've done it myself. Like I've hired a VA and they were working for me and I pigeonholed them into this one thing. And then I was like, I ran out of ideas. And I thought, hang on a minute, like I never asked them for a VA for a resume. I never really like checked out what they've done in the past. And it's amazing when they did, like you ask them and they send it to you and you're like, holy shit, you can do that too. And that as well. It's like the most obvious is sometimes most missed.
And before you get to that stage, another way that you can do this, Vet, is look at the things that you do in your day-to-day that are repetitive and then write those things down. because if it's repeatable, then it can be delegated because it's a repeated process. And this is why the SOPs, like we spoke last time, are so powerful, because then they've got a process of whatever. This is how you reply to a customer that's happy. This is how you reply to a customer that's irate. First of all, don't reply to them. Ask to jump on a call with them. Like it's saving that work. Even with like our voice AI, we've got an SOP for that. The team can't go wrong with that, because and then if something new comes in, which now with voice AI and the recent changes, there will be new things. The difference now is that we can adapt and keep it updated so that if someone continues to come in, they'll continually be up to date with it, right? So that you shouldn't have any mistakes, or you should have less mistakes, rather than, oh, don't you know how to do that? And so that's a powerful play. And if you then look at those, or look at the things that you want someone to do, then put it out to anyone that you're looking to use for a VA recruitment, whether it's, Lawrence, or if it's someone else. Talk to us about what it is that you're looking to solve other than high level, so that you can get someone that's more like what I call the unicorn, to then be able to do more than one thing and really be part of your business. Because RJ, I know I talk about him a lot, and I probably spoke about him a lot last time. He carries a lot in this business. He knows so many things, right? He's been through all the good stuff with me. He's been through the hardships with me, and he's just held on. That's someone that has the right life skills, the right values, but then he also then brings in the eagerness to learn then the business things that he may not know.
Contingency wise, though, isn't that a risk?
Why?
Like you got somebody who knows so much. Obviously, he's amazing, great human being, but God forbid something happened and he couldn't be here for you. Wouldn't that be a massive hole in your business?
It would. But do I want to stop the growth of my business because I'm worried about growing others? Or would I prefer to have a team of people that are specifically skilled to help me leverage and grow my business? Because a perfect example, look at how Johan and Walt have grown over the years. Look at how Matt's grown over the years. That's not one person. And it can't be one person. If you look at Johan and Walt, they're chalk and cheese, because you've got one that's the person that's the connector, and you've got the other person that's very detail focused. If you look at someone like Matt, he's got incredible communication skills, and then you've got the guy behind him like Mario that's happy to sleep on 2 hours. Now those people could get up and leave. Any of them could get up and leave. But if you're worried about that, then you probably shouldn't be in business, because either you stay in business and you do it all yourself and you don't enjoy it for very long because you're doing too much, or you build an environment around where people work within your business so that they feel valued. They have to feel valued. They have to feel valued, because otherwise they won't stick around. You'll upskill them and there's no reason for them to stay, because you're just an arsehole to them. So you have to value them. If you can share that same respect and then be able to talk to them as a human, and talk to them as a human on a weekend outside of hours, that's what you're creating, where they don't feel the need to leave. But you can't stop someone from leaving either, because if they outgrow the business, then they should be moving on, really. And what kind of person are you then if you're limiting their success based on your fear of them leaving your business?
That's limiting belief. Actually, this is a really good segue or a cross promotion into another episode I just did. I don't know if it's been released at this point, or I got to figure out, because you got this bloody damn number. I got to hold it for you. But yeah, when I was in Dallas, I had a really good chat with Karen and JC Hyde from Hyde Digital. They have a track record of one of the fastest growing agencies in US, so they know their shit. And JC was talking about this topic of hiring and how he actually hires people from other businesses only. Very interesting. He doesn't go and he hires somebody who's out of work. He never does that. He always hires somebody who is already employed by somebody else and just poaches them. Very interesting concept. So makes a little sense. I mean, if you offer somebody better money, but they wouldn't want to leave anyway, therefore there are other incentives that why they stay in there. But vice versa,
Correct.
if they do leave for better money, then they would have left. It was just a matter of time before they would have left anyway. So it makes a little sense, and they're actively engaged in their sphere of specialty. So it's an interesting concept. Makes a lot of sense.
Money's an interesting one too, right? Because about 10 to 12 years ago, I was working and I had another business that asked to interview me. They flew me up to the mainland to do the interview. I did it inside an airport lounge, and then the guy was a behavioral, what do you call them? He wasn't in an NLP, but he'd studied human behavior. And so I imagine his background was a psychologist. But the interview went for 2.5, 3 hours. I kid you not. And then when I answered a question, he'd asked me why I answered it that way. I took a day in leave, and he asked why I took a day in leave. And I said, well, because it's me taking a day off that isn't work. He's like, oh, well, the reason, because I said, why do you ask that? He goes, oh, well, it would have told me a lot about you. It would have told me whether you cared about where you worked or if you just faked a sick day and came here and got paid for it because you didn't really care about where you worked. So I appreciate his thought process, but it was, pretty weird, that interview process. However, they offered me double what I was being paid.
Yeah, right.
Right? Double.
Was that on the back of? Sorry, I missed that. Was that on the back of your like a sales career up in Queensland?
No. So that was just to still work in Tasmania. It's just that the business was a national business. So they flew me up to talk to the top person about that.
Okay.
And so I got back, and then shortly that night I got the email, and I went, wow, I've got to do this, because I like my kids, they're breaking into the tween period now, right? Whereas back then it was brand new, young family, second child, and I'm going, well, how do I do this? Because I'm running out of money and things are getting more expensive. And I loved what I was doing, but the money was double, right?
That's just too significant to let
Too
it pass.
significant. And I went, okay, I've got to make the move. So I go into the office the next day. And I said, to my manager, I said, can I catch up with you? And they're like, yeah, we can catch up. I can do it probably later today or tomorrow. I'm just a bit busy at the minute. I went, I said, no, that's cool. She goes, is it a good chat or a bad chat? I went, it's a bad one. She goes, let's chat now. So we go into an office, and I said, look, this is basically what's happened. This is what I'm being offered. I'm not asking you guys for any negotiation or anything like that. I'm just trying to be open and let you know, because I really care about here and what I'm doing here, and I really enjoy it. Now, look at this, right? Someone that's doing really well in the space, right? To what your question was before, doing really well in the space, but also happy where I was, right?
Yeah.
When you're happy where you are, that's something that plays a part. However, the money was significant, like you said. So they go, how much were you offered? I share that. They're like, wow, I'm really happy for you. That's incredible. Send it through to me in an email so I can see what we can do. I'm like, look, no, it's all good. I don't need you to do anything. I'll just quietly leave. I'll get out of there. They're like, no, at least let me see what we can do, and we'll come back to you. They came back and they matched it dollar for dollar and gave me a car.
Huh. No way. That's unreal, man.
Right. And that is what business is. Business is relationships. This is one thing that AI is not replacing right now. If you are someone that really cares about what you're doing and the people that you're helping and where you work, that's what can happen for you. They're the opportunities. Now, say that RJ was like, boss, I need some more money. Otherwise, I'm going to leave. This other crowd's giving me this. I'm not going to go, just get out of here, RJ, leave. It's not like that at all. He knows that he could talk to me about that, and we would have that conversation and we'd work something out. And if I can do it, great. If I can't, then yeah, I've got to let him go. But the SOPs that I've got in place will make it the onboarding quicker to then bring someone else in to then go through those processes.
That was actually a point I was going to follow up on as well. I've made that mistake a few times. I got too excited. I hired somebody and I didn't have anything ready. It's just like out of excitement, like I'm busy, I'm just going to hire somebody. And then I haven't thought properly what, like I got, maybe like I had a bit of an idea of what things that I could delegate, but I didn't have a process in place. And then what was initially sounded like a clever idea was actually the worst nightmare, because now I was chasing my tail trying to figure out how do I onboard him. Meanwhile, I still have to do my day to day. So now I was like stressing even more up to my eyeballs. I was like, what have I done? Like I'm even working even more than I was before. So don't make that, like if you guys are listening to this, like, and this could be my OCD talking and that experience taught me, but now I wouldn't hire anybody until I've got, a course in place, an SOP, some sort of a sequence of videos that I just send them over to watch. I wouldn't done it. I wouldn't do it any other way if I didn't have that, because
And
it's
I love
tough.
that you're saying this because it's tough stuff. The only time you could really bring someone in is if it's just general admin, because most people that apply for that job have the experience in that, and
Yeah.
that requires less of a process. When you're talking about things like high level cold calling, running ads, media buying, social media, Canva design, all of those have their own flow on how it needs to be done. And then you either have that flow that you like to do, or you need someone to step in that can actually develop an SOP and give you that flow. That's why you've got to be slow to hire and fast to fire. That's something Cohen Ray used to teach.
Hmm.
Because if you're slow to hire, you're more likely to find the right person. Mind you, if they start to show traits that aren't right for the business, like the culture as an example, I don't know what they call that now, but the saying of one apple can spoil the batch, legitimately a thing. You have one bad apple in pallets where, all the farmers have got in there and thrown it all together. It can literally ruin the whole batch.
Yeah.
And that's no different to business. You can have this amazing culture, and then one person can be venomous or vindictive or a horrible person and start getting people to talk behind each other's backs. And it can completely change the culture overnight. It can completely
Hmm.
change the culture in the day. So you've got to be able to act on that very quickly as a leader in a business so that you can go, it stops here. And if it continues going any further, there'll be repercussions of that. That's how important a culture is, because then you have people that come in and they're like, oh, well, Susie doesn't work that hard in her 6-hour shift, so now I'm not going to work as hard. But if your
Hmm.
culture is to actually enjoy what you do and work hard, that no longer fits.
Yeah.
Everyone in our business is high performers, because I like to feel that I'm a high performer trying to do multiple things and being that person that can max out a good day's work. I want other people to do that. So that's a culture that we hire in.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it would drive me crazy, man, if I had people that weren't like that working for me, because my brain's going, why isn't this done yet? Like in my mind, I've already solved it. Why aren't we doing that? Now, that can still happen. And that's my dominance. If we're talking about disc profiling, that's my dominance coming out of me of wanting things done straight away. I need to remind myself, yes, there'll be times where I can do things faster than someone else, but I can't do everything else. I'll max out. So I need to appreciate the fact that this person's coming in to even offer this help so that I can actually take my foot off the pedal and actually grow my business without having to slave away to grow it.
Yeah. Now here's a nerdy tip. We have this thing called High Level. You can create a course in it. You can create a certificate in it. You can create lessons in the course in it. And after each lesson, you can create a short quiz. So if you have a snapshot and there's a process to it, put it in a course, follow that with a short quiz. Only if they do right answers, they'll move to the next one. Once they complete the whole thing, so now they validated their knowledge as they go along, the breadcrumbs kind of a thing. They get to the end, they get a certificate. You got a validation that they actually know what you want them to do. And you can hire somebody, and that's the first thing you get them to do, and you have to spend very little amount of time on training, like very, very little. You maybe do an initial training, you do initial meeting to make sure that there is a good energy. But after that, you put them through the course, and then There's zero disruption to your day-to-day. You go back to your day-to-day, you wait for them to finish as soon as they're ready. Obviously, set up a deadline, how long it should take. If it takes too long, then that's kind of a self-liquidating process. Then they're probably not a good fit. But yeah, I find it really, really effective. And then here's another tip. In ClickUp, like there's process. Like let's say if one snapshot might be like 50 different things that need to be done. So you want to map it out into like every minute specific task, create a task in ClickUp for it. Then create a document, that centralized document. And in ClickUp, you can create subpages, make subpages for each one of those tasks. Then use Loom AI, just make a short video. Loom will actually transcribe it with AI. And you can just click a button that says create an SOP. You just copy paste it. It goes in a clipboard. You put it in a ClickUp. You've got the text explaining the process. With each step of the process, you got a time-stamped short little video. It does it all for you, and you just paste it in the ClickUp. So that's your centralized.
You know who taught me about Loom? About the AI for the SOPs?
I learned it from Andrew Kamait. I don't know who you learned it from.
I learned it from Lawrence.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Lawrence told me about it. And I was like, are you serious? This is incredible.
It's epic. I do everything that way. Yeah.
Unreal.
Yeah.
We do everything with it now for our clients, for us, whatever. It is just super powerful. Super powerful.
Let me just finish that process though. So here's what you do then, right? So if you got here is a process of setting up a sub account. All right, all these steps. You put in one document. Each page in that document is on specific SOP, which is super easy to do with Loom. Then you go and ClickUp and you create a list, task list, and you call that a new client template. In that task list, you put all the individual tasks like titles, blank, and in the description, you're not going to put the actual SOP in the description. Instead, you're going to reference, hyperlink to the document, to that specific page in the document. And then you're going to save that whole task list as a list template in ClickUp. And every time you get a new client, you just use that template and you don't have to do anything else. The only thing else, you just assign who's going to do that task.
Yeah, I love that.
Now, if your SOP changes, imagine if you got 10 clients that you just signed up and you just loaded in and then you realize, oh shit, I've got a new process. You don't have to touch those tasks because you've just made a reference. Where you go is that one centralized document where you go to that specific SOP page, delete, make a new Loom, takes you 5 minutes, drop it in, and that's now new and
ready
relevant.
To go again, updated.
Yeah, across
That's
everything.
Very smart. Yeah. Your ClickUp's really impressive. We don't do things quite like that. We basically set up our tasks so that when someone goes through when someone purchases, they go through an automation, and then anything relevant to the thing that they're purchasing with us, we then set up tasks individually that then go through a workflow. So just imagine a workflow with all the preset tasks all in it, and then they just literally get allocated to that contact. So then that way we've got the entire list allocated to that one person, and then we can go through and then tick off the things as we're meant to be doing them. Then for our reference, we've got the Loom video explaining how to go through each of those steps. So slightly different, a lot less sophisticated.
Well, there's room to make it even more fancy.
There is a lot of room to make mine more fancy, not yours.
No, I'm talking about mine. I'm talking about. So I think it was about a month and a half ago, HighLevel released a native integration with ClickUp. And I've been waiting for this for so long because they had native integration with Slack, which is great. Like, so if something happens in GHL, you get a Slack automated message for team. I was like, this is great. Well, then ClickUp realized, well, we're kind of behind with the comm stuff, behind what Slack does. So they released ClickUp chats, right? That's like maybe 8 months ago. So you can create for each of your clients task or space, you can create a dedicated chat for that. Now HighLevel's released an integration that you can plug in on the back of automations. So you can create new tasks inside ClickUp. You can do a bunch of stuff. I haven't played with it, but I think that's going to be like the next thing that I'm going to do to even further dial in my fulfillment. But I'm putting pause on that right now because fulfillment is not my problem.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I love that. And that's going back to our original start of this conversation about being super focused on the thing that's going to matter. And I always call this moving the needle. What's the thing that's going to positively move the needle, rather than what's the thing that kind of looks cool or sounds cool or something that's going to just take up a lot of my time. The process of SOPs, if you don't use them, just experiment with just having one, and that will probably change your life, especially if you're doing something complicated. For anyone that's new to SOPs, because someone who else does this really well is Michael Patchy Toes, and he does this well. And I'm trying to look at how we can systemize more things, understand high level better for our clients and for agencies that we work with. And that's why I'm invested with people like Michael doing his stuff, right? And that's how I've got my cool bronze cabbage award working with him there.
Yep.
And then the more recent one, and I didn't even tell you this, Fit, but the more recent one is that I've recently signed up to do my certification with HighLevel.
Nice. Certified admin.
To be the certified admin. And do I feel that we need that? We haven't needed it yet, right? And we've gotten by. Do I think that it will help us understand things better? Absolutely. I really do. I think that it will help us get a better understanding of it all. But again, if we weren't at this stage, I wouldn't have jumped in and purchased it, Fit, to get started on it, because we've just got too many other things going on. It doesn't make sense. Whereas it will allow us to show more credibility in what we do, because people need to trust you, the company, and the product in that order, right? And all three of them have to be at a 10. And so if we're talking about working with other high-level agencies, the thing that helps us is we can name drop some of the people that we've built things for. And that pretty quickly then people go, oh, I know that person. I've spoken to that person. I've tried to work with that person. And that builds credibility. It's third-party credibility, right? It's building off third-party data or referrals. Whereas we'll then have our accreditation, which will then have the little badge that we can then put there. I could then have Michael's badge to put on there, because Michael's very credible in the documentation space when we're talking about that as well.
Mm-hmm.
And those are things that we can use. The AI Australian National AI Awards, right? I've got a little badge for that. I haven't put that on the website. I will, but I just haven't got to that yet. But again, that's just another thing that we can use for credibility to say, hey, like we've been nacanized. That's a new word. That's not an Australian slang, guys. We've been recognized for that award, which then adds more credibility. Even when I have people jumping on the call bit for the voice AI, and I mention that, I go, look, we're also finalists. We've been nominated for 14. We're a finalist for 1. I said, what other voice agency do you know is currently winning or being represented as a finalist for National Australian AI Awards? They're like, oh, well, I can't think of any. So I'm not saying that to impress you, but to impress upon you that we care about everything that we're doing. Like we genuinely want to do this long term, and we want to have long-term business partners like you. So if that sounds like something you want to be part of, we would love to do that. Although if you're after something where you can set up your own account, put in your payment details and pay $15 a month, that's not us. We're not going to be the right fit. And you say that, and then people still sign up at the $3.99 a month. But it's because you've put in the blocks through that sales process as well and built your credibility going in there.
Yeah. I even heard another spin on it, which is flipping the coin, and not flipping the coin, like turning the mirror and saying, look, I'm not going to try to convince you to be your provider. I'm going to interview you to see if you're the right fit to work with us. Somebody said that to me, and like the moment you do that, it's like everything changes. They're like, oh, wait, what? So like, you don't need my money?
Love it. I love it so much, mate. We had this guy 2 weeks ago. Seemed so great, the first meeting I had with him. And then we went to go through the close, and he just turned into a completely different human being.
Mm.
And I said, just so you know, I actually think we'll end the conversation here. We're not going to be a good fit to work with one another. Appreciate your time. And he was like, what do you mean? What, you're just going to drop this now? And I said, yeah, I said, the beauty of being the owner of this business, mate, is I get to choose who I work with, and I'm choosing not to work with you. Respectively, you're just not the right fit for us. You're not who we want to work with. So I'm wishing you all the best, and we're not going to be working together from moving forward. There is so much power in that. You jump off those calls, man, you feel like you're fucking Superman, chest out. You're like, yeah, that's right. I've got values. I actually give a shit about, the people that we're bringing in here. Like, you nailed it perfectly. I know every single person that works inside our SaaS, just like you do, because we're doing exactly what you're saying, even without calling it the interviewing. We're doing that because I guarantee you that you're doing that like I am, so that when you actually have those meetings with those people, you're like, are these the right fit or are they not the right fit? And then you can quickly determine that and then, choose what you want to do. But I can tell you right now, there is no one working with us that I don't want to work with at all. No one. And that's the power, because business is already tough. You don't need an arsehole to make it harder.
And look, I mean, a lot of us have been in this game for a while. We've invested so much time and effort learning GHL. So we owe it to ourselves to have more respect for ourselves and really pick and choose and not beg for a client.
Yes.
It should be the other way.
And there's going to be people that listen to this fit that are startups. And you know what? I get it. I hear where they're coming from. If they're like, oh, well, I'm starting out, I need whoever I can get. You know what? You might need to take on that person that's a bit abrupt and a bit rough around the edges towards you, so that you can get some foundation going and then grow the business. That doesn't mean that they're a forever client. You can choose to fire them later and go, look, just based on this, here's how this relationship would need to work fit moving forward. It needs to look like XXXX. Now, ultimately, we'll contribute to it by doing these things. At the same time, if it's not the right fit for you anymore, like, really appreciate your business and wishing you all the best, I might be able to refer you to someone else that can help.
Yeah, because it's like 69, it's about giving and receiving equally.
That's right. Couldn't have said that any better. That was the best timing.
I had to that one last punchline, right? So what's next, mate? What's next for Jarryd, Holmes, and Bold the Digital? Any exciting projects or goals on the horizon that you'd like to share with our audience?
The goal right now is to wholly solely focus on the voice AI and make that our one thing that we want to focus on. I hope that people being on this podcast here in this episode attempt to do that, because that will change. If you're struggling in your business right now with HighLevel, in most cases, from what I've seen, is people are trying to focus on too many of the things, right? Which is something that I say to people is we solve the ings of business: the calling, chatting, texting, emailing, automating, marketing, blah, blah, blah. Now, we have the same tools as everyone that's using HighLevel, but I don't talk about all the other things. I just focus on the voice AI. So right now, that's what's on our horizon. I would love to do that. I would love to I've got a goal of bringing in 100 additional clients with the voice AI, not including the 17 that we've brought on, because we had another one sign up the other day. So we're sitting at 17 voice AI agents now. What I'd like to do is now get an additional 100 and then go to Dallas next year and get at least the 100, but get the 100 without the cost of it being a low end offer, right? Because $399 is still too cheap for the value that comes from that.
Yeah.
But $399 would change the life of a lot of people that are using Go HighLevel that are starting out or trying to get somewhere. $399 a month from each person could make a very large impact. So that's where we want to be. We then want to be able to have our other products to cross-sell. We want to stay attentive to the change, because there's so much change and disruption happening at the moment. So I want to continue to watch that space and bring in the things as we need to add to our offering, while still single-handedly focusing on the voice AI. Okay, so that we've got that one thing that we can really knuckle down on. The idea then is to create more content for voice AI. The idea is then to start interviewing people for more content. So I don't think I'll do a podcast. However, I will do things like jumping on a video call to meet up with as many intelligent people as possible, to turn that into content, and then also help each other to collaborate and grow each other's audiences. So that's something that's of interest to me, because again, this year collaboration's been one of my biggest focuses. And I think that that's where we want to be for now. That's what we want to do. And we just want to keep saving lives, man. We just want to keep helping people in business, helping agencies in business to just be the best that they can be, and work with people with good values that want to help others.
Right. Brilliant. I like it. Clean path forward. You've got a vision, you've got clarity, and that's important. Now, I think we talked about putting together some sort of an offer, and then we didn't get to work out the details of it. But I know this. There's going to be a link called HighLevelExperience.com/bold-digital. What would you want to be behind that link?
I wonder what people would want on that link.
I mean,
what would help them?
I was going to say like something to share, like, but we've kind of done it. Like if you listen to this episode and if you took notes, that's all you need to know. Like just act on it. And then there's going to be show notes. There's going to be a transcript, so you can run it to GPT and then distill the core strategies from what we talked about. I think there's tons for agencies as far as agency goes. And obviously, if you run an agency and you need help with fulfillment, and reach out to myself or reach out to Jarryd, and we can work with you guys.
Team 69er style, without the X-rated. Love working with you.
Same, man. It's been fun. Let's wrap it up.
So there's a lot of stuff there. I wonder what we could give people that would be impactful, because there's so many nuggets in what we've just spoken about that would just focusing on one fucking thing would completely change their projection for the better. And if it weren't, again, for amazing people, I caught up with Walt and had a call with him, and he absolutely confirmed doubling down on the one thing. Absolutely doubled down on it. Johan and Walt have been incredible for my growth and my knowledge and my upskilling in this space. But I had that call with him, and he's like, right, what's the number? What do you want? How soon do you want to be there? What are you doing right now? What do you reckon will get you there? And we literally drew out a plan, and that is a plan that I'm absolutely doubling. I'm all in on it, dude. I'm so hungry to achieve this outcome that's why I'm just, doesn't matter what time it is, doesn't matter how tired I am. Granted, the last couple of days I've been falling asleep early, but I'm okay with that. You know why? Because our body's going, hey, I just need a rest. Just take it easy tonight. So I will. But then today I'm back stronger than ever, going, right, let's go again. And then when we get where we want it, then we can take the foot off the gas a bit and enjoy the hard work of paying off. But yeah, massive shout out to you, Walt. That was a big help.
I'll tell you what, next year we're going to go on that stage together, mate. I'd love that. My gold. I'm going to go for my gold. I should have been gold years back. My fucked up OCD brain just been going too many directions. But yeah, let's do it.
Don't blame it on like that, dude, because what you've got is such a gift. There's times where I wish that I had that. And then there's probably times where you see things that I do and you wish the same thing. That's the power of what we have, is we have gifts as human beings. We have these amazing skill sets. So then leverage those and work with others that can help you. Like, remember when we were doing Saaspreneur, what was the terminology that they were using? Implementer or?
Yeah, you need somebody who's good with sales.
Visionary or an implementer.
Yeah, that's right.
Visionary and implementer. And then pretty much everyone put up their hand saying that they were a visionary, right? And then there was about 4 of us, you and I included in that 4, that said that we'd be implementers. I believe that you're a far more detailed implementer than me, but I've had to Swiss Army knife myself to be able to do that before I brought in RJ, which is why I'm fortunate that I can do both. If I had a preference, I'd just get you to do it. I'd just get RJ to do it, to implement it. I'm fortunate that I had to embed it into what I was doing. And I think sales helped with that as well, because when you're in certain sales roles, they'll get you to do the account manager sales role. So you're not just doing the actual selling part, you're then doing the management, the setup, the ongoing care. So there's a lot of variables there that you've got to upskill and learn and bring in.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's so it goes from sales to retention and great onboarding. So you had to do all that. So that's a good multifaceted experience. Yeah.
Campaigns, the details of those campaigns, hope that those campaigns deliver with what, because you've just got that person, depending on who it is. Sometimes it's millions, sometimes it's a few $100, but that person's invested in your decision with what you've shared as this is a solution that you need to follow based on what you've shared with me. And so some of these people are giving you everything they've got, and then there's other people that aren't, but they're outlaying a lot of money to get the outcome. So you want to know that you're making the right choices. And this is why sales can get a bad name, because people don't care enough to do their due diligence to care about this whole process. And then they burn people, and then they get a really bad name in the market. Real estate agents, Americans call them real estate agents, don't they? Yep. They just call it an agency rather than real estate. Real estate agents have some of the worst names for being dodgy. And it's typically because they wine and dine, they make the sale, and then they move on. And
It's very transactional.
Very transactional. And you'll notice that they're not very detail orientated. Why? Because they've got admin that can then come in from behind and help with that part. Whereas if you're someone then in media or marketing and then you're an account manager, you've got to know that whole process. This is great talking to you about this, because this is how I'm aha-ing my moment on how I found that I can fit into the implementer space, not just a visionary space, because I had no choice. It's like, well, you either do it or you're not going to do it well, and you're going to lose your clients, and then you're not going to keep them happy, and then you're not going to get paid, and then you're going to be without a job.
It's an interesting one because, yeah, it's like the logic is better the service, happier the clients, higher the likelihood of them want to refer you. And isn't that like a whole thing about high level? They don't even have a sales team. They just focus so much on giving value, and it's just growing.
Yeah.
So that's
and I think
my OCD is justified that way,
Oh, dude, your OCD is incredible. I just think it's such a gift. And you look at your understanding of high level. I've got an understanding of high level. I know that I can have these conversations with you, and you can always take me 2 or 3 layers deeper into that understanding of that thing. Even on your calls that you're doing, your free webinars that you're doing at the moment, the value in that, you can go to such a deep level of understanding on those. Whereas I'm more the guy that goes, I just want the general understanding of how it is, and then I'll work it out. And that's how I've learned high level over the years, is just by doing that. But that served me better, because rather than trying to perfect it and waiting for the right time, I could just go out and start getting in front of people and selling it to people.
Yeah.
It'd be like if say there's high levelers listening to us now, they're like, I'm going to get this AI perfect. I'm going to get this right. I'm going to get the chatbot perfect. I'm going to look at all the new AI integrations that have been released. I'm going to make this incredible offering. And then all of a sudden something new's come along, and then it's wasted. I've seen this happen so much fit over the years, where they put all this effort in and then it's just wiped. And you haven't progressed. You've lost time and money getting there.
Yeah. And look, this is kind of like this workshop today. I won a raffle and level up, and I won a lifetime deal with Closeboard, and shout out to Bryce and Michael, and both of them jump on the call. Like, I needed help. Like,
yeah,
how quickly can I learn this? Because I've got a workshop on Friday. And in the meantime, I'm also doing this roundtable thing, and I was, promoting this. So I was like, I didn't really fully commit to just preparing for the workshop on the back of Closeboard to learn everything it is. And Michael, shout out to Michael Swam, he jumped on a Zoom call and had 2.5 hours. He showed me everything in Closeboard. I'm like, I can see how this is better, right? But then this morning, I'm like, I don't think I've done good enough justice to go and teach this to the audience. So that's why I defaulted back to just GHL. knowing that's still there. And I probably would have done a worse of a job because I would be explaining something that I don't fully, feel confident understanding. I know it's better and I will be teaching it, but like in that short time frame, I don't know, seemed like a better decision.
I think the thing with this is because you're so detailed, you can go down the rabbit hole of sharing stuff. And sometimes you just need to share enough so someone understands the power of it and how it's going to be implemented, and then leave it at that. Because
that's
then
kind
the
of
next
like
steps can come with it.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's kind of like why I thought, well, it's just probably better off just showing them the GHL version, just a simple one, because the flow builder, I think I would just lose the heck out of. I mean, didn't Arthur just had like a little nap when I was talking about stuff? I think he did. And that's shut up to Arthur. But no, honestly, I think he did. And it was
Oh, Arthur, you're back with us? Oh, hello. You had a little nap. We didn't want to wake you.
Yeah.
I think, the interesting part is you just want to give people enough information on those webinars. Really, you don't want them to be any more. You want to have your pitch at an hour mark at max. You want to have your pitch part at an hour, because most people are only retaining information for half an hour anyway.
Yeah.
You give them too much and then it becomes analysis paralysis, or they start to forget the good stuff. And it's much like this podcast. I don't know how long we've been doing this together on this podcast now. I guarantee it's been an hour and a half to 2 hours.
We're hitting 2 hours and 1 minute, mate.
Right. So
this is a true joke. I mean, honestly, I don't feel bad about it, because do you know how this whole started?
As in what?
Well, this whole podcast.
How?
It's 2023. Level
Yes.
up. I met Andrew Kamite. Shout out to Andrew Kamite, and we're drinking a beer and chatting, and like, what podcast you listen to? And I'm like, I really like Joe Rogan. It's kind of like long form, just kind of cruisy. And he was like, yeah, me too, man. I'm like, wouldn't it be cool if somebody did like a high level theme, but like long form, just like having a chat and just getting into the meat of it, into the detail, rather than like on the surface crap. That's what it is. So we're living up to it, mate.
I love that. And here's the thing is, we've spoken about so many good things.
Actually, sorry, there's one more thing.
Yeah, go for it.
It's like a full circle for me. So I went to a level up. I didn't go last year. I did go this year. It's like a 2-year break.
Yep.
And guess what? I had to make a road trip down to Austin to go to the mothership. I didn't get to see Joe. Well, Joe Rogan, he lives in Austin.
Yes.
I don't know if you know that. And he owns a comedy club called the Mothership. And he hosts all the comedians, the up and comers, but also the good ones. And he gives people opportunity to test their skills. And so I had to go there. Shout out to Braden. We had a best road trip. I hired a Cybertruck. It was before Level Up, and we just drove there 2 nights, hang out, went to the 6th Street where all the clubs, music, venues, comedy clubs, the best experience ever. I'm just sharing it because like for me, it was like a bit of a closing the loop on it. Like how this podcast started was because Joe Rogan, and I had to go and see that place. Obviously he wasn't there, but apparently he's there three times a week. So the likelihood was pretty high. Wouldn't that be awesome?
I love your detailed brain. It's like the stakes were high. Like it was a 3 in 7 chance that they were coming.
Yeah. So yeah.
I love that because you're talking about Joe Rogan and then also the start of the High Level podcast. And it's nice to see that you've been in Dallas just now and then been able to kind of go, not even close the chapter. You've just gone in, closed it off. You've gone into the next chapter is what I'm trying to say, is because now it's taking it to the next thing. You're working with more people. You've been over there and you've already got a massive wait list now of more people that want to be part of the podcast to join it and share their value with your audience as well. It's very exciting because now it's like going to the next stage. You're at chapter 2, and on to the next big thing.
Yeah, see where it takes us, eh? It's exciting.
It is, man. I can't remember what we were talking about before we went down that side mission.
No idea, but I think we're hitting the record. I don't think I had a longer episode, so.
Do you remember last time you said that you didn't remember, but when I tried to jump on, I'd just come off the back of whooping cough.
Yeah, Yeah, rings a bell. Yep.
So savage. That was savage as anything. I was like, what do you mean whooping cough? Isn't that a thing that babies get? You know, and then every 30 seconds coughing. And then we had our podcast lined up and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I'm going to be ready by then. Like, I can't stop coughing. And then my throat was drying out and I remember coughing and you're like, it's okay, mate. We'll just be able to edit that bit out. And I'm like thinking, oh man, you're going to have to edit all of this out. There's so much coughing. I've just added to your workload. It's like, continually trying to fix it up. But, man, you've just done so well. It's great to see. You've given me FOMO talking about being over in Dallas and all the fun stuff you got up to. So next year, next year we're going to have to do it. We'll have to work out what our plan is and then work towards it.
That's it. Jarryd, let's wrap it up, mate. If people are still listening up until this point, shout out to you guys listening. We appreciate you.
We do.
If you made it that far, I think these guys deserve some special treatment. Is there one, I don't know, like some special nugget of advice you'd like to share with them?
I hope it's the one thing that I've been sharing the whole time. The nugget is, please focus on one thing. If you're trying to scale your business, focus on one thing that you can offer. And you don't have to be like me. You don't have to niche by product. You can niche by industry. A perfect example before was when we found that we got really good results for that skip bin. And then we reached out to the 7 and then we got two replies and then one of them jumped on board. And both of those skip bin businesses are with us now. Great recurring revenue. And then they've scaled and cross-sold into other things. That's just by focusing on one thing. And then we've done the focusing on one thing with our webinars and the leads tool. And that brought in 26 clients. And that was great as well. And now we're focusing on the next thing, which is focusing on the voice AI. We want to see that. That will give me enough data to then work out where I really want it to go. I feel confident that it's a voice AI. I even remember talking to Sean Clark at the Saaspreneur event, and I was telling him how he brought on the 26 clients with the webinars. And by that stage, we were doing something else. And then he goes, so you brought on 26 clients? I'm like, yeah. So that's awesome. I went, I know, it is awesome. He goes, so why'd you stop? And I went, well, I just sort of change up my offer and go with something else, right? This is why I'm trying to hit this home bit. Just try something else, see what else is out there in the market. But it worked, didn't it? I went, yeah, it worked. So why do you need to change it? And that was like the biggest epiphany when he said that. So then we've used a webinar model to do other things. But again, just find one thing that you can do really well with a team or without a team. And then the moment that you have enough money coming in, hire someone to come into your business to help support you. And don't have them come in to try and take over your sales, because you'll find that your sales will stop, especially if you hire someone overseas. It's very hard to find someone that's adequate at sales in the Australian market that's good at sales, because the way that they sell in the US is very different to how they sell in Australia, as an example, right? So just make sure that if you're going to bring on a salesperson, that there's someone that knows sales. But if you're just starting out, you probably won't be able to afford one that can sell well. So my suggestion is get good at sales, because that's one of the last things that you want to pass on. You will also learn more about your clients, their dreams, their beliefs, their goals, their outcomes, their objections. And that will help you to develop an SOP of some sort in the sales space, so that you can then share that knowledge and that learning with someone that you bring into the business. But sales is one of the things that people ick a bit and go, I don't want to do it anymore. The moment I've got enough money, I'm going to offshoot it to someone. You are paying someone to come into the business and then look at producing more sales. If they have no experience in what they're selling, you've just caused an instant expensive bottleneck in your business, because you've got someone with maybe some sales skill that doesn't know how to sell it. And if you're crap at sales, you can't help them either. And you can't expect someone to go and find their own way. And if you do choose for them to go and find their own way, be prepared to spend or waste time and money to help them to get there, because people can't just solve shit on their own, right? You're the business owner, like you can afford to do that. And that's why it's so important to learn that sales process. Like Vit, you and I have spoken about sales countless times. Like I've trained all kinds of people in all different industries. And I can tell you that the way that we teach sales is applicable to every single industry that we've done it in. There's not one person that goes, oh, this training doesn't work for me. It works for everyone, because selling is communication. You just need to know how to do it.
Apply crossover. Now, well, here's your offer, mate. That's what we're going to plug in on that HighLevelExperience.com/bold-digital. And let's plug in your sales course. Why don't we do that?
We can do that. Like we used to sell that sales training for $1,600, and it was a 9-week course. Like you've seen in there, Vit, how many hours are in there?
About 20 hours.
There's like,
sorry, I don't sound too excited, but like it's a good course.
There's like nine segments, and then because they were live calls, the more people gave back to me, the more I gave to them. So some of those sessions went for like 2 to 3 hours, just deep. And a lot of people, I remember one comment you made, you were like, oh, I actually didn't realize that there was so much to go across in sales until I seen all your content in there. Yeah. And that's the thing, is it's communication. It's just being able to be a good human being and have a good convo to see, one, if you can help them. And then two, if you can help them, move heaven and earth to show them why it can help them. But be a good human being and don't try to sell them something for the sake of selling it. And I know startups, again, I'm talking to you. If you're someone that's like, oh my God, I really need this money. I hear that you need that money. We all needed that money when we were starting out, but we need to do the right thing. And if you're doing it in a local area, it will come back tenfold. It will come back tenfold. You will keep a good name in the market. You won't be seen as the guy that was pushy. Work on permission-based selling and really try to help people. And if you can't help that person, Vit, hey, look, I appreciate that we've had this great conversation. It looks like I wouldn't be a good fit to help you out. I'm curious, do you know anyone else that this would be a good fit for?
Yeah, mate. What I like about this is that if you are shy or you don't like to do the selling, this is probably the easiest method of selling, permission-based selling. It's just asking the right questions and seeing if there's a good fit. And if it isn't, it's all good. And if there is, that's an opportunity.
And I'll quickly touch on this because I know we're so far over. There's introvert and extrovert. Vit, which one do you reckon I am?
Well,
you probably know better than anyone because you've seen me at all different areas of things where I'm out and about, and when I'm like retiring to a hotel room and things like that. You've probably seen more of me than other high levelers to be able to do this decision. But I'm curious.
At a face value, it's easy to say extrovert, but I know you're not.
Yeah. And so a lot of people think that I'm extrovert. A lot of people think I'm extrovert. I can tell you right now, the moment I jump off this call, because it's whatever time it is, like 6:00 at night, I can't wait to chill out, go on downtime and catch up with my son and just cook dinner and just chill together.
Yeah.
Right. That's my thing, is low mode for me is that. And I'd prefer that over a lot of things. And I say this to people so that you can then go, oh, well, this guy can talk about sales, but he's an extrovert. Like, it's easy for him. It's amazing how easy it is when you actually put yourself in a position where you have to be that extrovert. And, you do something enough and you'll become it. And that's what's helped me with doing this. I'll probably leave it there because there was a study I seen the other day where they were talking about that there is a middleman now for introvert and extrovert. I can't remember what they called it, but I was like, oh my God, maybe I'm fitting in there. But I say this because you can be an introvert and still be incredible at sales. You can absolutely be incredible at sales as an introvert, because a lot of people think that as an introvert, I keep saying extrovert, as an introvert, you can be amazing at sales. A lot of people think you need to be extrovert to sell. I know some incredible people in sales that are introvert, and people would easily mistake them as an extrovert.
Makes a lot of sense. Mate, let's finish on that note. That's powerful. Thank you for being on, mate. I appreciate you. You've always been here
Likewise.
for me. And I'm looking forward to more opportunities to have a chat and share ideas and share thoughts. So
Time
thank you.
to top and tail.
Yep. And
69er style. I had to say that because I don't think you got my joke.
No, I don't think I got it now. But yeah, thank you so much, mate. And thank you guys as well. If you made it all the way to this end, I thank you so much. It means the world to me. Thank you for listening to today's episode on the HighLevel Experience Podcast. I hope you've been taking notes. If you've enjoyed today's episode, please share it with your fellow agency mates and other high levelers, because you never know who needs to, he needs that little extra push and might just hear a little extra strategy that might help them move forward. So if you know anybody that would benefit from listening, please share it. And for show notes, for links and extra tips to help you grow your agency or your SaaS with HighLevel, please go to highlevelexperience.com. Thank you and have a great rest of your day, everybody.